Good evening. My Bible says that people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. So I'd just like to read a few things this evening. First of which is just a piece of the Virginia State Constitution. This is Article 1, Section 16. I've clipped a part of it, but it says that religion or the duty which we owe to our Creator and the manner of discharging it can be directed only by reason and conviction, not by force or violence. And therefore all men are equally entitled to the free exercise of religion according to the dictates of conscience. And it's this last part that I really want to emphasize, and that it is the mutual duty of all to practice Christian forbearance, love, and charity towards each other. This is in our state constitution. And as we know by our federal constitution, we all have the freedom to practice religion as we see fit. But specifically in the Virginia State Constitution, James Madison, George Mason, and the men who drafted this before our federal constitution included, regardless of what your religious belief is, that the mutual duty of all is to practice Christian forbearance, love, and charity towards each other. George Mason actually suggested maybe we ought to tone that down a little bit, but James Madison barked back and said, no, we need specifically this phrasing in here. And I bring that up because I think it's a fair aim for us as schools to say we want our students to be law-abiding citizens. So that's piece one of just informational knowledge for us this evening. Last month when I had the privilege of coming to speak, the phrase, the separation of church and state was mentioned. And while this phrase is in our Virginia State Constitution, the separation of church and state is actually nowhere in any founding document in this nation, in this state, period. I think it's something that's taken today and run with a little bit, but it's actually a phrase that Thomas Jefferson mentioned. I believe it was when he was president, in a letter he wrote to the Danbury, Massachusetts Baptist community. The Baptists back in that time were not as big as they are today, but the Baptists were concerned that as the United States grew, that there would be the establishment of a state religion as was the practice in Europe of the day. For example, the state church in England was the Anglican church. And if you didn't follow the Anglican denominational beliefs and practices, you could be persecuted, thrown in jail, things like that. So Thomas Jefferson writes back to these concerned Baptists that there is a wall of separation between church and state, but the heart and the intention that he had behind it was that government bodies, institutions are not to infringe upon the rights and the freedoms of the citizen to practice what they believe in the public sphere. I think that phrase is taken and it's run with a little bit today to mean quite the opposite, but the original intention of our founding fathers was that we have this freedom to practice it or encouraged to practice it in the public sphere, whether that be government, schools, etc. To the point that, there were church services held in our Congress buildings to start out. So, like I said, people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. I just wanted to present these things, for consideration this evening, because it's certainly something that's on my heart and my mind. And just a reminder, everything that we do, our founding fathers, I really truly believe that they held these values, and that's what's made our nation, our state, our county so strong. So just like last month, just a reminder to us all, in anything that we do, these decisions that we make as a school board and everything, are we seeking the counsel of God? Are we seeking to honor God as we make these decisions and do these things? It's certainly something that I know I can grow and be better at as a teacher, but that's my aim and my goal. So God bless you all. I'm over at the high school if you guys ever need anything. Thanks for having me tonight.
Thank you very much.